Towards the end of the Second World War, pilots in Peel Region, Ontario, mainly Air Cadet and British Commonwealth Air Training Plan instructors, began chatting about flying recreationally. The group realized there was sufficient interest for a flying club, and soon they were raising funds to purchase a used de Havilland Tiger Moth. Flying from local farms, the pilots went in search of a permanent home. They found it in a provincial field beside the Ontario Reformatory on the west side of Brampton. In 1946, with the first instructor, Bud Young, on staff, a charter applied for and granted, a rough hangar and clubhouse constructed, and a runway graded, the new club began drumming up wider interest. A year later, it had nearly 100 members. Over the next decade and more, the club professionalized as 6 aircraft began operating out of its facilities, including a Piper Cub, an Aeronca Chief, and a 90-horsepower Champ, the first aircraft the club purchased new. The BFC fleet continued expanding and modernizing, and would come to include, at different times, the first Cessna 152 operated in Canada, Cessna 172s, Piper Warriors, Cetabrias, a Cardinal RG, a twin-engine Seneca, and many more. In 1968, the BFC faced 2 serious challenges. First came a fire that engulfed a sorely needed hangar. Even more pressing was news that the club's airport license would not be renewed. The BFC board immediately negotiated an extension, securing much-needed time to find a new home. Then President Donald Fisher suggested they move and establish an airport. The club's nest egg, combined with the insurance payment for the lost hangar, provided sufficient funds, and a parcel near Highway 10 was purchased. The official opening of the BFC airfield in 1970 was paired with its first air show. Performance included a glider display, a flyby of an Air Canada DC-9, a DC-3, and some of the first displays by the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum. More than 5,000 people attended. The show was so successful that it continued until 1976, marking the club's 30th anniversary. That year, longtime member Bill Pomeroy flew his home-built RV-3 to a world speed record over 198 miles per hour, smashing the previously held record of 172 miles per hour. Nearly 30 years later, after organizing singular air shows, including a 50th anniversary celebration in 1996, the club resumed hosting an annual event in the form of the BFC Open House. Its airport day has since welcomed thousands each fall. With the move to Caledon, the BFC began to grow. Although indebted from its move north of Brampton, its board leveraged the rising property values around the airport to finance the paving of its first runway. Another was soon cleared and paved as well. Fuel pumps were installed, and a new clubhouse and hangars were built. As its facilities expanded, so too did its services, notably for instruction. Increasingly, the club was becoming a destination for aviation in Ontario. Draws included the Ontario Aviation Historical Society, better known now as the Great War Flying Museum, the 892 Snowy Owl Royal Canadian Air Cadet Squadron, and a local chapter of the Recreational Aircraft Association. The association's popularity reflects the club's welcoming environment for home-built aircraft. Certainly longtime members Don Woolley, who kept his basement-built Nipper at the field, and Reed Hutchinson loved the BFC for this very reason. Indeed, over the years, many notable pilots and aircraft have called the club home, George Neal and his de Havilland Chipmunk and Sopwith Pup among them. While the club has had its ups and downs, including a second fire in 2019, today it is one of Canada's busiest general aviation hubs. As a not-for-profit corporation, the BFC continues to own and operate its certified airport, now the Brampton Caledon Airport, a pilot shop and restaurant. The field is also home to maintenance and refueling services and many privately owned aircraft and hangars. The club's teaching facility, reconceived as the Brampton Flight Centre, is now a world-renowned flight school that boasts a modern fleet of aircraft, plus its original Tiger Moth, and 2 flight training devices operated as part of a comprehensive instruction program. Thousands of pilots have earned their recreational pilot, private, and commercial licenses at the BFC, and hundreds of students have graduated from its Transport Canada-approved programs, landing successful careers with domestic and international airlines. Such success over more than 75 years is thanks largely to the club's members, whose commitment to aviation and to their flying club has been driven by a remarkable sense of spirit. For the families of many, membership at the BFC remains a generational affair. Through their dedication to both the club and to aviation generally, they have embodied their organization's motto, Volo Nunc et Semper, to fly now and always. And in turn, they have helped to foster the growth of Canada's aviation industry, making the BFC a welcome and integral part of the local and broader community. From recreational flying to training pilots for careers in aviation, for more than 75 years, the Brampton Flying Club has fostered the growth of aviation in Canada, earning it the Belt of Orion Award for Excellence from Canada's Aviation Hall of Fame, bestowed at ceremonies held in 2022.